School start and end times. Superintendent?
Yes, so since our last meeting, we sent out 3 surveys. And we sent those surveys to you online so that you could review those as well. What was very interesting about the surveys, in regards to the students, you saw the high school, middle school students, and then the high school, middle school parents, and elementary parents. What I found, the majority of, basically when you take a look at it, is everybody was kind of in that same ballpark about where school, if you were gonna move the high school, where it should kind of be. And at the high school, people were looking at, the majority were anywhere between 8:15 and 8:45. You know, lesser on the 8:45, lesser, but more so on the 8:15 time slot. When you took that group of people and you put that together and you said, okay, this is this amount, various to the smaller amounts for keeping it where it's at. And the students were very, you know, some of the comments were great. Some of them were like, yes, please do it. And some of them were like, no, don't do it. You know, I mean, it was real. It was real on it. And the parents, the same thing looked at from the perspective of, okay, the 8:15, 8:10, around in that area seemed to be a majority could focus in on that as opposed to later in the day. At the elementary level, it seemed the people were very much adamant about, they liked that time zone that they were currently in. So in looking at the whole picture and not wanting to be the person who comes in and disrupts the world right away on it, I certainly understand, and I had to go back and look at what the objective is here. The objective is to move the high school time. That's what I was looking to do. So after the surveys, and we'll put those surveys, these results as well online so people can take a look at those too, so that nobody know, you know, how it comes out for the response. We just won't put the comments on it, but we'll put the responses out there. I mean, not the responses or comments, but the results.
Yeah, the tallies.
The tallies. I would recommend moving forward that we keep elementary as is, we keep middle school as is. And that's important to have that half-hour gap because we do use services for special ed services for vans that pick up certain, and they go around. So we do need that gap. If we could have had all schools at the same time, great, but we also have to let people get around the community. But I would really like to see the high school move to 8:15. I think that's a happy medium. It's right in there, it goes 8:15 to about 2:50. We would take a look at the time on learning of 2:45 to anywhere between 2:45, 2:50. Now, for those people who are nervous that, well, I've got an elementary and I've got middle school and I got high school and I got to get all, the high school opens up at 7 o'clock in the morning for any student who wants to come. So if you need to drop a student off early at the high school, you can do so. We have, you know, the school is open. Ms. Cargill's been great on that. Kids come in, they have a lot of meetings there. Things are there for people who do want to arrive there early. And then you're keeping the others at the same routine as we move forward on that. So that's where I've come through from. I appreciate everybody's response. I really appreciated the meeting in December of listening and kind of getting an understanding on it. And I'm not asking for a vote tonight. I'm telling you where I'm at. If you would like to, that's fine. My feeling is that I think if anybody were to move, I would recommend that we move the high school only to 8:15.
I'm comfortable doing a vote tonight.
Me too.
Okay. Are we gonna do we can, yeah.
Is there any discussion before we do anything?
Should I make the motion and do it that
Okay,
way?
go ahead, make a motion.
So I'll make a motion to approve the start times.
As
Should I
presented.
read them as presented? Which basically would consist of a shift of the important thing would be the high school start time shifting to 8:15 and ending at
2:50 right now
at 2:50.
for students, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, open for discussion.
I just wanted to make a couple, I had a couple thoughts.
Quickly?
Yep, I like that, okay, so I just really like that we're being responsive to the information, right, about what's best for student well-being and student academics, so I like that. I like that we really, in this process, I think we've all had a lot of conversations in the community, and I think that survey and doing the public hearing and really listening to what the parents and the students themselves thought about the proposed change was important. This was also part of a larger regional effort of the Middlesex League, so I think that's important for timing. Yeah, I guess it was so important I wrote it twice. It was just that it's in response to there's community feedback taken in this process, and that we've arrived at a compromise. So I think that that results in a better solution for everybody. So I think this is we'll be in a better position with the schedule. So that's why I support it. That's it.
I thought it was a great compromise. We sort of, the biggest pushback we had was from elementary parents. And I think by having our open meeting, we gave them an outlet to hear
Sure.
everything. And we listened, and you took action. You did nothing. I think that's great. And I think they're going to be the happiest.
Yeah.
And middle school stays the same, and the high school gets to sleep half hour.
But the nice thing is that I think that this both serves the needs of the students and the desires of the community in a positive manner. So I would say that's the optimal compromise from where we're at. So I think it's a very wise way of doing things, so.
A couple concerns, though, that came up was the issue of like in the survey findings. There was I'm just wondering about the awareness of people understanding the full range of current drop-off options that are available to them. I don't know
I
if
don't
that's
think they
widely known.
really, right, I don't think they realize some of those options that are out there. Because the middle school has options that start at 7:30. The high school has options that, start at 7. So I'm not sure. But I think as we need to communicate that and educate our community, but we need to do that over the course of time for the next year. Because I'm not saying, I think this is a good temporary fix for now, and we'll take a look at it as we move along.
Just as an awareness thing, I felt
Right.
like I didn't know a lot of the options
Right.
that were, so I've learned a lot of that, but it was through a lot of one-on-one interactions.
And I think what was important was that, you remember what the message we had sent out, because it was gonna be so cold when we were coming back, and I said, the buildings will be open, and then, the buildings are open. So they are open for
Yeah.
people to come in, and that was, those are things that it's important to know. I mean, the high school, actually, kids could come in and enter as early as 6:30 if needed, so.
And in terms of the transportation, it just emphasizes to me that safer ways to walk to school
Right,
right.
right.
That just feels a no-brainer. It's healthier, it's safer, it's better.
Anybody else?
That's it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Are you clapping because it's done?
Thank you, public.
You guys did a great job from the end-to-end process. That's all I came to watch. I cannot be the only one here.
Okay.